So that situation where someone you support, whether it's your child or someone that you care for, suddenly takes off all of their clothes, whether you're in your house and you know that that's perfectly safe for them to do that, or whether you're out in a community or in a shop or somewhere else where actually it's almost a bit of a shock. You're wondering, why on earth have they taken all of their clothes off, or why have they taken off certain items of their clothing? So when we're talking about taking off clothes, it could just be someone's taken off their shoes. And I do have a separate video talking about why some people might like and dislike wearing shoes. So have a look at that one. It might just be that they just prefer not to wear a top. So maybe they don't like the long sleeve top and they're always in a t-shirt. So jumpers come off and coats come off. Anything that's long sleeved will not stay on. It might be that coats come off because coats are heavy and they're another weight that we can add to our body. It might be trousers, so feeling of our skin. Absolutely everything could come off for some people as well. So let's have a little think about this, and there can be many, many reasons because of the different items of clothing that we might wear in our day-to-day lives. Now, like with all of the videos that I do, don't forget that sensory processing difficulty is when it impacts someone's ability to be able to concentrate or to focus or to do an activity. So if someone's taking off their clothes and it's relating to a sensory processing difficulty, then it means that there is an overriding need for them to take off their clothes. It's impacting their body's ability to organise all of their senses to focus. Okay, so it might be that they've processed too many sensations from a sensory system, so they're going into that fight and flight, that natural primitive reflex of my body to protect myself. And so I know to be able to bring myself back down or to be able to help calm myself, I need to just take off my clothes. So it could be relating to smell. Many people that I support are hypersensitive to smell, and smell is one of the most difficult sensory systems to identify a processing difficulty in. Partly because of the way that we process smell is processed in the emotional part of our brain, so the way that we respond to smells is highly emotional. And for some people with sensory processing difficulties, being able to respond and recognise our emotions can be really difficult. So smell might be difficult. Also, as we become adults, we might respond to smell in a less obvious way. So when we're a child, we might hold our nose. So if we smell something that's really horrible, we might cover our nose. Or we might take ourselves out of that environment, out of that room. But as we get older, we kind of learn that that smell's going to disappear. We will be able to forget about that over a certain period of time. But for some people with smell processing difficulties, that heightened intensity of smell is going to be there for a longer period of time. They've got a lower threshold, which means that the amount of information they can have until they've recognised it is a very small amount. So clothes, we have washing detergents, we have perfumes, we have deodorants, we have other people's smells on our clothes. We also have environments that they've been in. So if, for example, if you dry your clothes near your kitchen, they might smell of food. They might smell of cleaning products because of where they've been. So don't forget, smell is really highly emotional, and so the way that we're going to respond to it is by removing ourselves from that situation or trying to just get away from it as quickly as we can. So some people might take off their clothes relating to the smell. Some people it might be relating to touch, so if they're hypersensitive to touch, processing, finding it really difficult to feel certain textures on their skin, it might be smooth, it might be soft. When we process touch, light touch creates a lot more sensations than deep pressure. So when we're receiving sensations from light touch, so if we're tickled or if a feather brushes us or if our hair brushes our skin, or if a texture clothing touches our skin, for some people if it's not fitted and we're not constantly feeling that pressure on our skin, it's almost like a tickle. So imagine that, constantly being tickled in your everyday life. You're trying to concentrate in school, you're at home, you're trying to eat your dinner, and you're just feeling this tickling all over your body. Some people, however, might take off their clothes because when our clothes aren't on, we're then more aware of where our body is. So it might be relating to temperature. If they get cold, I'm feeling that on my skin. So again, it can be tactile or it can be proprioceptive. So if I take off my clothes, the air, the wind, the breeze, I'm feeling that on my skin. So it's like I'm receiving that light tickle all over my body. And so again, proprioception, so our body awareness, it could be that actually I really need to be aware of where my body is, and by wearing clothes I'm not receiving all that information. Some people might prefer to wear lycra clothing that's more fitted to my body so that I can always feel where my arms are, where my legs are, where my body is. That's really going to help me organise that information. Whereas for some people who are not receiving enough sensations, by taking off my clothes, I'm suddenly feeling my body, I'm moving, I'm doing things, and I'm getting that sensation about where my body is in space.